What's up, y'all? My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. A little bit unorthodox video. My beard's not like actually trimmed proper. We're in the shade. But today's the 24th of June, 2025, and this video is titled 2 Pockets or No Pockets on Button-Ups. Actually, yeah, either 2 pockets or no pockets, right, is the point. Either 2 pockets or no pockets on button-ups because of the balances slash imbalances that just one pocket can cause. And we'll get into it. I'll first do as I do, talk about each of the 4 sides of In the Image Clothing Company. I'll talk about where clothing sits, because our whole focus for the main side here of In the Image Clothing Company is allowing the human body to work. And then we'll talk about what this video is. So yeah, as I just said, this is our main side of In the Image Clothing Company, but it's not just about clothing, it's not about fashion by any means, but we talk about clothing because it's the only thing placed onto the physical body, okay? And the body is a physical thing, clothing's a physical thing. We address the body in ways sometimes to try to get it to work, but it's designed by God to work. There's only one center line, there's only one neutral position that the body has. Okay, the sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, and our jaw, which naturally stabilizes our whole body, has to stay in the center with feet that oppose the center and grip arches inward and keep us vertical on Earth's gravity, one of God's laws that we don't have a say over trying to address the body out of any other way besides just keeping it centered. And there's a neutral joint, meaning a neutral position in every joint. The neutral wrist, straight out from the pinky, the neutral pelvis, the neutral shoulder position, collarbone angle, neutral jaws location, neutral spine. I could go into any part of the body that has a joint. There's only a neutral to everything, okay? So, clothing. But eating, standing, walking, sleeping, hydration, breathing, whatever else that we talk about all the things that we do as a human being physically and just doing them natural, which is the goal for all 4 sides of In the Image Clothing Company. Natural, okay? In the Image Clothing Company podcast, one of our other fourths, we're on 136 as far as the episode numbers go, where we have deep discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ, aka the truth of all things. We just discuss this life. We all have one God and we talk about him as he is, and it's a great place to check out, get some insights on life, hear me speak, and raw and real, blunt and bold, as I say. Sometimes I get screaming a little bit, seriously, in there. So, another 4th of us, In the Image Clothing Company music, I show sizings and setups of guitar to not alter the body. The hands are essentially the shoulders, as the feet are essentially the hips. When we're playing guitars, we're doing fine little motor skills with our hands, and they need to be in their only neutral position while we do it. I also place music that I have made on In the Image Clothing Company music, okay? There's our last 4th to mention, our newest one, okay? Our latest one, if you will. We've had it for a while, but In the Image Clothing Company poodles. Letting dogs stay natural is our focus. And so we do that through all the ways that we do, like with human beings, how it's not just about clothing, but that's how we approach the human body. Same with dogs. Specializing in purebred standard poodles, we will be breeding them, registering them, advocating for registering dogs, and a lot of other things, proper dog ownership, and we do a lot. I could talk about in our intros all that we do, and we'll get into under In the Image Clothing Company poodles, but it's going to be so much that I don't want to just spend 5-10 minutes in each intro of like the main side videos just discussing In the Image Clothing Company poodles. But poodle parade events where we bring purebred poodles and or poodle mixes. You can bring your dogs. We'll get together here in the state of Utah, check out nature, okay? I'll give a lot of information on letting dogs stay natural, collars, leashes, harnesses, staying centered and balanced weight-wise and fitting correct, okay? And a lot of things nature-wise, okay? Clean the creek, poodle parade type events, picking up trash. So just check scheduling on InTheImageClothingCompany.com for both poodle parade events and the main side of In the Image Clothing Company, the events where I get together with people and address the human body, talk to them and teach them, potentially you, about the anatomy of the human body. I discuss it in depth, how to allow our bodies to just work. Free modifications in clothing. We'll discuss In the Image Clothing Company, what we are and our products and our approaches to things and how to just stay natural in all that we do, okay? There you go. So clothing for everybody has to sit in the same location. If you're a man or a woman, tall or short, skinny or fat, any age or from any part of the earth or any time period ever, the hips just can't be restricted. So pants have to be entirely above them, okay? Slightly higher in the front than the rear for the angle of our waistband, just because that's the neutral position of the pelvis. And when we place clothing onto us, it can very much alter our body's neutral positions, as I've been saying in the intro, and as we are physically for the human being under In The Image Clothing Company. That's our whole point of ever having clothing sales, right? And dog product sales, as far as things to put on dogs, collars, leashes, harnesses. That's why we have those things, is to just ideally have little to no restriction with what we place onto our physical beings, being either a dog or a human being. So tops that we wear have seams on top of our shoulders. They need to sit evenly behind the peak of our shoulders. Mechanically, the shoulders just only ever work behind our head. That's just where the musculature connects and the bones naturally sit. And the edge seams should just be as close to the edges of our shoulders as we can get, just because that's where the functionality of the joint of the shoulder is. Otherwise, it just can't function. Two things we have as prerequisites under In The Image Clothing Company. In The Image Clothing Company's shoelace technique is what we label the only way you can weave a rope across the top of the human feet without altering their mechanics. Then we tie shoes as well, and they have to be tied evenly over toward the center line of the human being on both feet, which I didn't do till I was 24 years old. So what we do with getting out of chronic scar tissue and patternings from years of clothing imbalance is something that I've had to do before I can even speak about it. And, you know, during my process of both things have been going on, because a lot of scar tissue can get built up, a lot of chronic patterning and misalignments in the whole body from just ropes at our feet, okay? And then secondly, removing all tags from clothing. Anywhere a tag's placed in clothing, it's either just causing a physical gap, changing the body's only workings, and or just not allowing the musculature to activate against it, and then the body's trying to compensate, but it can't. The body is all one. It can only ever work activated as a whole. So anywhere any of it goes, all of it comes, okay? Now, let's get into this. Here's two button-up shirts, both short sleeve, because it's Utah and it's warm. 80-something degrees Fahrenheit today. And I just purchased these today, used. So I'm gonna show this, what the title is, okay? Either 2 pockets or no pockets on button-ups, because of this reason. And I'll put one of them on and just, you know, just speak as I'm doing so. Some people wear a button-up shirt, let's say at least 5 days a week for just about their entire life, okay? Some people just about never wear button-up shirts. But like people in business, okay, here in the United States of America, a businessman, right, quote unquote, or woman, but generally, you know, men, if they're dressing up, that's what they'll do, is put on a button-up shirt, because women wear dresses sometimes, right? Sometimes they wear button-ups, but men usually don't wear things like dresses, usually, okay? And so it's going to be the most common for men, but for either human being, anybody ever, okay? Man, woman, tall, short, skinny, fat, any age, any part of the earth, any time period to ever be, you're a human being. Your clothing has to sit in, right, the locations I discussed, and that's how I word it. Because it doesn't matter what, you know, if you're a man or a woman for this to be the case. But I will say it is very common for some men, more than women, it's just the case, to wear a button-up shirt almost every single day for just about their entire life. And why I'm saying it like that is it's kind of similar to what I was saying about shoelaces, where I went, you know, 20-something years. I wasn't tying shoes as a little infant baby, but right around 20 years tying shoes imbalanced, rotating my entire body, or drawstrings tied, you know, uneven, rotating my entire body. And yeah, I mean, I did that for a long time. So something like this, having just one pocket on a button-up shirt, just on one side of it, day after day, for years, potentially decades, potentially almost your entire life, your whole body can develop severe imbalances, okay, that just become chronic, become so deeply ingrained that it actually takes quite a bit of work to get out of. And it's reversible, right? Just like my body, if you've looked at videos right at the very founding of In the Image Clothing Company, and then, you know, any current or like the most current video that you can find, my body has physically been transformed. I mean, just going from being so restricted, inhibited, pushed on, pulled on, twisted by seams and ropes and sizes of clothing imbalanced, to now not being that. And I've had to do work as well, you know, releasing scar tissue as I talk about. But we need to keep our clothing centered. So in the Image Clothing Company, our button-ups always will be centered, okay? Staying centered, fitting correct, allowing the human body to work, being made out of 100% natural materials as well in the Image Clothing Company clothing, okay? But yeah, if you have just one pocket, you have these pectoral muscles here. There's an upper pectoral muscle and there's a lower pectoral muscle, and yeah, you just got excess material, okay? If you can see, you might be able to. If not, that's fine. But there was a pocket here, just one, not one on each side. There's just one pocket when I purchased this today, and that's been the case for so many of the button-ups that I've filmed in the Image Clothing Company content in. But I take them off, right? I just unpick the stitch around the pocket, take the pocket off, and now it's balanced left to right on the front, material wise. The amount of material for the sake of weight, for the sake of mobility, right? I mean, it's just going to move well over here, and it's also going to just move well over here. And for the sake of just, you know, thickness and size, it's not going to alter your shoulders because there's just material more on one side than the other, right? It's kind of like having something in one pocket all the time and not the other pocket of your pants, is what I mean, you know, because that's something that happens so often. Ideally, we never have anything in any pockets at all, because it's just going to entirely alter the body. Again, something I did till I was around 24 years old, okay? And boy, have I been paying for it the whole time, and then, you know, now getting out of the patternings as well that's caused from that. So it's as real as it gets, as I say, in the Image Clothing Company, and what we do for the human body's natural function. Really only function, okay? Natural, neutral, normal synonyms with the human being. I discuss them as that under In the Image Clothing Company as the founder, okay? My name's Evan Strong. So yeah, no pocket, okay, or two pockets. The point is, look at it, right? Stay centered, my body can work. Yeah, my muscles can activate evenly, my rib cage can expand and contract evenly, right? And it wouldn't be able to if there was only one pocket, meaning just a pocket on one side, okay, only, because there's a center line to the human being and two sides on Earth's gravity, okay? So now if I show this one here, is something that I, at least as of this time, don't normally have, which is pockets, but there's two of them, okay? So as I was saying, weight wise, restriction wise, for the motion and mobility, the ability for the musculature to activate or not, just the alteration, or ideally no alteration, to the position that it puts your whole rib cage, shoulders, spine, and then traveling to the tips of your toes and the tips of your fingers, even, you know, tip of your head. Your whole body will be altered if something's altering any of it, because the body's all one. So here we have two pockets, okay? And obviously, right, if you can see it. But what I'm saying is, now you don't have any imbalance left to right, okay? And that's kind of the only thing that we can do, okay? I just don't want to make it silly, meaning I don't want people to like overlook it and be like, this guy thinks he's made a breakthrough. No, I mean, it's kind of, yeah, I mean, if you don't see it, but as I say, we're not reinventing the wheel under In the Image Clothing Company. We're just showing how well it rolls. It's not like I'm like showing some huge, like crazy aha, other than kind of, yeah, I mean, because now you're just centered, right? And everything you do, your pectorals, they connect from your sternum in the center out to your shoulder, okay? And so anything, even in here on the musculature of your pecs, pectoral muscles, right, it's just altering your shoulder, but then your shoulder is essentially your hand, and so now it's altering your hand, and again, all the way to your feet and their ability to grip arches. And so now your whole body's rotated through your spine to the tip of your head, and now you're looking one direction, rotations are off, right? All this, and as in-depth as we could try to have a conversation about, one-sided, right? To what it's doing to the whole body with just one pocket only. Regardless of what side it's on, you know, traditionally women's shirts button from the right side over the left, and men's shirts button from the left side over the right. Normally the pocket's placed on the side that has no buttons, that's on top, okay? For men's shirts, it's almost always on the left. But the point being, it's just, we can't have an imbalance and have our bodies work, okay? Because it's about Earth's gravity. It's not about an opinion. It's not about fashion. It's not about anything besides just truth, right? It just is what it is. It's as real as it gets, as I say. I think I said that earlier. It's as obvious as it is once you see it. I say that too. I mean, because that's what I mean about, you know, it's not really an aha, but it kind of is. Because if you've never seen it and you've gone so many years wearing shirts with just one pocket, and at the end of the day your whole body's sore and you're like rubbing your neck and you don't know why and stuff, right? Well, if you have clothing on you imbalanced ever, it's just altering your body. I mean, you're breathing constantly, you know, and your whole body can only ever work activated as a whole. There's only one way the human body could ever work, right? Everything in the body only has a neutral position. I say these things often, it's just how it is. So there's videos how button-up shirts affect body mechanics under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company, how button-up shirt collars affect body mechanics, and you know, I showed what I did. We need the collars all the way folded back because our shoulders only ever work behind our head, and we need to keep things off the spine. There's a video under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company titled Keeping Things Off the Spine, right? So there you go. Okay, now you have internal rotation at that point. Just half of your body's rotation, internal and external, traveling through the whole body, okay, from the feet to the hips, from the hands to the shoulders. So there you go. The point is, I want to explain it enough to where it's not just like some kid who's just like, keep your clothing centered, it'll be something that's fashion, or right? Like if this is your first video coming across In The Image Clothing Company. No, I know the human body's anatomy in depth, and we talk about it really, really thoroughly. And this is a really big thing, okay? Just a single pocket, because it's so common, and well, it's an imbalance, okay? That's altering your whole body and your whole life, truly. So I don't normally have pockets, like I said, and if I do, then I cut the buttons off, because now when your shoulders only ever work behind your head, if you have excess stuff on the front, it's pulling your shoulders in front of your body. Their insertions are back here, base of the skull, along the spine, the rear of the shoulder, okay? Yeah, so there you go, neutral. Just hanging with gravity is actually behind you, where your shoulders sit. Okay, and we've got a lot of videos talking about just the anatomy of stuff like the shoulders alone, okay? And most all the body, actually, I have specific videos about under the main side of In The Image Clothing Company. But there you go, okay? I will say, yes, ideally no pockets as opposed to two, but definitely never just one. And it's one of those things where I phrase it sometimes like, I can tell you that, like what to wear, how your body works, even though I've never met you, right? It's just what it is. It's just a mechanical machine placed onto a rock in space, as I say, the human being on Earth. And also just gravity does what it does across the entirety of the globe, okay? So there's certain things that I can like speak for other people on. I know some people don't like to be told that they have to wear something specific to allow their body to work. Well, you just do, right? God designed it, we can't decide it, the human being. So take your pocket off if you have one, or buy In The Image Clothing Company clothing if you'd like to. Okay, our button-ups will always be great, just because that's the only reason we make clothing in a world of an abundance of clothing, at least here in the United States of America, okay? And a lot of it's terrible, just seriously for the sake of, you know, the functionality of our bodies, okay? So there you go. Two pockets or no pockets. Those are the only options without me like telling you something, right? I can tell you that. there you go. Okay, it's big, really big, and you can see it. You can look at In the Image Clothing Company content as of any time that I've ever made it. Okay, and you'll see I almost always have no pockets, or if I ever do or will have pockets on my button-ups, I'll have two. Okay, if there's anything I can do about it. So there you go. Okay, just preaching what I've practiced on the back end. And you can also see a lot of the time too, the shirts that I wear, at least as of now, up until now, under In the Image Clothing Company content, some of them you can tell had a pocket at one point, and I just cut the stitching out and just pulled the pocket off. Okay, so there you go. Keep your body centered, otherwise it just won't work. Okay, you'll be in pain, you'll be trying to stretch, which stretching is the opposite direction of the only way that muscles could ever work, because muscles only contract, which is a video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company here. Okay, so yeah, your body will just work if you allow it to. We show how to. We show a lot more, like I said, than just clothing. But you have to start with clothing, because anything you ever do in your life, you're doing it through clothing. And ideally, there's no restriction to our bodies from our clothing. Okay, keeping short sleeves short, for example, a video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company, for the sake of this being a short sleeve button up. Okay, there's your reference to that video. Yeah. Okay, have them fit correct. Tops are like a cage for the shoulders is a video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. Shoulders naturally sit behind the body, okay, or the head, whatever I worded it as. That's another video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company. Just some things relating to what I'm showing here, okay, with just the pockets and no imbalance, okay. So there you go. Today is, like I said, the 24th of June, 2025. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Check out In the Image Clothing Company Poodles if you'd like. It's going to be really great, all that we do with and for dogs. The events are awesome too, because we're not distant as a company. You can come and actually involve yourself. We're here in Utah, which if you're not around here, then okay, maybe you're not going to come, and that's fine. But we do a lot under video, even if you just like to watch like poodles being bred and born and puppies being raised, for example, you know. Check out In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. And thank you. Okay? Yeah. Thank you.